she finally said to me, "All right, Pam, I'll have another cup of coffee." And I turned my back on her to get her another cup of coffee when I heard her say these life-changing words to me, for whatever reason. And she said, "You're absolutely right. TWA wins hands down right now from compared to Mary Kay, but where are you going to be 5 years from now?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Where are you going to be 5 years from now?" You know, now, mothers, you know when your kids are this big, you know when you have somebody in the house, they run around and they make noises. Well, mine were doing airplane races all the way around as we were trying to do this facial and everything. She said, "Where are you going to be?" And I said, "Well, as long as the airline's in business, I guess I'm going to be an airline stewardess." And she said, "Are you going to be making any more money?" I said, "Maybe a few little pay raises if we can get," because, you know, it was unionized and contracts. By the time you were out of all those things for a 3-year fight, she made $10 more, and then the government took it away in taxes. So it was a wash. But she intrigued me, and I said to her, "So where are you going to be?" And what she did was she painted the dream for me because she wanted to be a national sales director. And she said, "Pam, I'm working on my team right now. When I get 3 or 4 more, I'm going to be in qualification for being a Mary Kay director." And she told me all about that. And then she said, "And then we're going to establish a unit in New Jersey. And then I want to change as many people's lives as I can. And hopefully in my unit I can inspire people to have my job. And when I've made X amount of those people, then I can take the very top position in this company." And I went, "Wow, that's really nice." You know, and I wasn't being rude. But you know when somebody doesn't really know inside our bubble? Until she said, "Well, let me explain to you technically written on the book, Pam." She said, "The National Sales Director position is technically a semi-retired position. You can work if you want to, but you don't have to. But what is required from you to get paid is 2 speeches a year. One at a career conference," we called it a jamboree back then, "and 1 seminar." And I said, "That's very nice." She said, "But do you know what the average national sales director makes?" Now, if we were to bring it up in today's prices, because I thought it was mind-blowing back then, but even now, if you put us all in one pot and you divide us all, we're well over $200 and some odd $1,000 a year. So for 2 speeches a year, that's a good job. That's a real good job, you know. And she turned around to me and she said, "And I could see you doing that." And I said, "Where do I sign?" So that's when I joined Mary Kay, and I'd love to tell you that it went off fast and furious and a huge success. I wasn't. It took me quite a few months. In fact, I couldn't even sell basic skincare. I did my classes, so I was obedient. I did the equivalent to what you would say as a power star. We used to do 5 classes in 1 week back then. I would do everything and didn't read my consultant's guide, did everything wrong. I had a great attitude. But when I did the class and I saw the pudding on the lip color at the end, and my stomach used to go flip-flop. It's like the inner voice going, "We're going to have to talk about the money soon. We're going to have to talk about the money." I would say, "Does anybody here feel they want anything? No, let's put the coffee on and let's have cake." And I wondered why I couldn't sell $10. Actually, the first class I did was $7.50. And I would love to tell you that they really, really improved. It didn't improve that much more. I think I broke $15 after my 10th class, but wasn't going anywhere. And then, quite honestly, you get to a position sometimes, well, I think all times, when you feel you're doing a lot of things and you see nothing coming back, or no hope, no nothing, then you start to doubt, you know, is this really for me? Should I really do this? Well, I was at that point. Now, my wonderful recruiter, the one that had tried for 10 months, had seen this into me, and so she hauled me off to an equivalent of this, the Jamboree, which is the career conference. And I didn't want to go, and I told her, "I'm quitting Mary Kay, and I think it's the greatest company, and I love the people there, and I love the product, and I'm going to support you all the way to the top. But it's not for me." And she said, "Well, I'm going to give you one last chance, Pam." She said, "I'm going to take you to this conference, and after this conference, if you still feel the same, I will accept it. And if not, we'll take it from there." And it was at this conference in 19 1975, I sat on the very back row, and I was amazed at just the whole atmosphere of Mary Kay. And that was in New York City in the Hilton. And at that time, we didn't have just local, it was the Eastern Seaboard of Mary Kay, because there wasn't that many of us. So they filled up the ballroom with about 1,500 people. Mary Kay came in, and she just lit up the room. And I fell in love with her. And I wasn't a starstruck type of person, because I'd had so many of them on the planes. But she was different. She was just incredible. And I bought her dream. And I was determined. And I walked out of there saying, whatever it takes, for however long, I'm going to do it. And that's what I want you to do. And what's driven me with my Mary Kay is Mary Kay's delivered absolutely every promise to me. She has done everything and given me everything she said that I could have in her business. We came from an average family. We worked hard. The money came in. The money went out. There was no savings. You know the type. You know, you get your pay packets in at the end of the month. There isn't anything in the bank. And you wait for the next one to come in. I joined Mary Kay, hopefully, that I could make $25 extra a week that I could put into a fund for the kids' birthdays. But I went to work for my family. I did not use my family as an excuse. I wanted to be the mom that could turn around to my kids and bring the luxuries in and just take the pressure off my husband, who I've been married to for 43 years and been married I was able, through Mary Kay, to put him into a private school and really help him tremendously. Then they got to the 18 age, and then I was able, as a mom, through Mary Kay, to say to them, okay, where do you want to go to college? And my eldest decided he wanted to go to Europe, and he wanted to be a chef, and we were in the restaurant business with my husband. But he learned from his father, there was no education, and he said, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right. So he wanted to go to Europe, so Mary Kay paid for him to go to the Cordon Bleu school down there and everything. And then the youngest came out 3 years later, and I said, what do you want to do? He wanted to go to California. We were on the East Coast. I really thought it was Surfboard 101 with him, but he showed his talents, and he did get accepted to the Spielberg and Lucasfilm Academy in USA. And these are kids. I'm going to tell you what the gift of Mary Kay. Watch Mom put what the equivalent of your ladder success, the little goals that we had on the refrigerator, and me tell the family, okay, I'm going to be missing on these days, because you see that thing on the refrigerator? Mommy's going to win that. Well, we don't win every goal, but they saw Mom goal set. I'd never made goals before Mary Kay. They saw me win them, they saw me lose them, they saw me brush myself off and do it again till I won. Big example for kids. Big example. Talk about their age anymore because it's showing mother up terribly. And all I can say is that these cosmetics do work, and I haven't had a facelift yet. 2 seconds here. I am so proud. My eldest, he's in Houston. He has now the 4th largest successful delicatessen in the country. But if you saw how he ran that, he runs his restaurant. It's a Mary Kay thing. He praises his employees. He does everything, and they wouldn't leave him for anything. My youngest did go to film school. He did graduate, and he did break through and won the Tribeca Film, in New York Festival with his one fun thing that opened the door to him. He wrote Final Destination 2, and then he wrote and directed his Butterfly Effect that he did. Which is another of his creations, and he's right in the middle of launching what Blindsidedness is going into production right now. But I'm going to tell you, 2 great kids. They did have talent, but they would never have had their shot in life. Never. I really believe this. If Mom had not done the skincare classes, had not done book, sell, and recruit, because I could never have afforded to send them to the colleges and the places where they needed to be to get doors open. So, So promise me that when you leave here, you will have the biggest size goal in your heart. And like Brenda, you'll be persistent and determined until your ship comes in. And it will come up in if you don't give up on yourself. And thank you so much.